When the job ends, an open letter to a Broadway choreographer. Everyone said we looked alike. I took it as a compliment, because I saw myself sitting in your seat. I wanted to be just like you, a Broadway choreographer, a magician of dance, creative rebel, a role model. You brought me to the front of the pack. I roared fearlessly so everyone around could hear me, a confidence of a much older person. Your ears perked up and you began to approach me slowly. I asked you to guide me through this concrete jungle. You grabbed my hand and led the way. You showed me your ways and I followed suit. Late night emails, hot coffees, notes and notes. I worked hard and was flooded with respect by the others. I'm working for a Broadway choreographer, Mom, I'm doing it. But you were very critical of me. It started with my dance, but it spread to my body. You groomed me in the shadows of a cave. You disliked my sharp nails, my fur, my growl. But you did like my small figure. So I drank Diet Cokes to avoid eating, smoked cigarettes to skip meals too. Sometimes I was so hungry I had $1 slice as a reward. One time you caught me and snarled. I never ate pizza in front of you again. I wanted to stay small for you. I needed to stay small for you. You were small too, but a different kind of beast. Everyone said we looked alike. One night you took me out, served me dark liquids and smoky greens. It was my honor. It was my pleasure. It was my job. Famous actors and dancers trotted around with their noses on the ceiling. I'm in. My mom is going to be so proud. Inspired by intoxicity, we headed to the dance studio late at night in a flurry of excitement. No more assisting, no more whining and dining. We were finally going to the studio to create as equals. We headed to a fancy building, which coincidentally was your apartment building. We stepped into your dark apartment to drop off our stuff, and the door closed behind us, blocking out the light. You began to kiss me ferociously. I floated above my body and watched the horns burst from your head. I could see you so clearly in the dark. It all happened so quickly. No time to think, no time to decide. Yes, I want this. I didn't want this. You took out your briefcase of justifications. You said that since you were around pretty things all day long, you should be able to play with them. You asked me to be your husband's new plaything, a new house pet. You convinced yourself so well. You almost convinced me. I'm glad your husband was out of town that weekend. It started with my body, but it spread to my mind. You hypnotized me into the bedroom like a slithering snake. Suddenly, my clothes were off my body, but I refused to take off my underwear. That was my one compromise with you. I never owed you a compromise. I surrendered onto my stomach in the middle of your husband's bed in the shape of an X. You began to sniff up my essence with your dribbling snout. You ran all over me, spewing foam like a rabid squirrel. I wish I remembered more, but my head just spun until I escaped into a deep slumber. I woke up, still in my underwear in your husband's bed with you next to me, breathing heavily. What happened last night? Were you going to leave your husband for me? Or was I the new house pet? Did this mean you loved me? Did this mean I loved you? Is this what work is? Is this what being a dancer is? Don't good dancers do whatever the choreographer wants? Was this what it meant to be in? Naked, I took a shower surrounded by glass walls as you watched me sitting on the toilet drooling. I'll never forget your glowing pupils on me as I tried to clean off your handprints to no avail. I dressed quickly, distracted by your expensive city view and colorfully loud decor. You complimented me during every silent moment until I couldn't hear my own thoughts anymore. You stole more of my spit at the door before I left. Part of me liked it. Your brainwashing was working. But as I entered the elevator and rode down from the high, I felt a black hole in my gut. A missing piece of myself I never knew could be taken. As the elevator dinged, I already had a long text written to you and sent it as I walked out into the fresh air. You respected my wishes and agreed that we wouldn't do that again. Only work from now on. Only work. When the job ended, you hired another young assistant, skinnier, whiter, shorter, and younger than me. You convinced me I was soiled, rotten goods, brown, fat, and old, useless. You were the first Broadway choreographer I ever worked for. You ate my body to keep yourself young. You lived through me, leaving me to rot slowly over time. Maybe I should have taken off my underwear. Maybe I should have slept with your husband. Maybe you would have kept me around longer. Maybe you would have given me another job. Maybe this is what being a dancer is. Maybe this is how business works. I'm sorry your husband wasn't enough. I'm sorry I made you think I wanted you. I'm sorry I stepped into your apartment that night. I'm sorry I assumed you could be a mentor. I'm sorry you smelled my broken past. I'm sorry you mistook my admiration for affection. When the job ended, I was still here. I was still starving myself, convinced that my mask still belonged to you. I shaved my fur over and over again to look young for you, in case you ever wanted me back. It started with my mind, but it spread to my dance. I let male choreographers continue to define me, use me, poison me. I took off my clothes in front of cameras to find an answer within my rotted image. My roar became swallowed, tamed, silent. The job never ended for you. The vultures picked at your bones at a young age too. Very young. I'm sorry you were robbed of your youth. Everyone said we looked alike. So I grew new fur. I let my growl rumble into a beautiful song. I busted a hole in the cave to let the sunlight in. I drank from the fresh fountain water and ate feasts of nourishment. I gained weight of muscle, fat, and strength. I stared into reflections until I saw my eyes. I stood naked on podiums to reclaim my perfect body. I listened to the silence until I could hear my own voice. I still look for the missing black hole in my gut when I wake up in the morning. I still see traces of you in my bloody veins when I get furiously mad. I still see you in every male choreographer's gaze at the front of the room. I never did get to see that dance studio in your apartment building. We never did get to work as equals, because we could never be equal. Everyone said we looked alike, but we were never alike. When the job ended, I didn't end. But this ends now.